Okay, so just before this video starts, because YouTube got rid of the annotations, I can't exactly put like a contents menu, but what I will do is just during this kind of commentary here, I will have some timestamps where I recommend you go if you are in a certain situation. So timestamp 1 at the top is if you are the guy who is making the repository, who is going to be managing everything, and timestamp 2 is going to be for the people that want to join the repository. Say if you're working on a collaboration with someone, then that's where you need to be. I mean, either way, whichever party you're in, whether you're setting up the repository or you're the one who's joining it, it might help to watch the whole thing. There is some useful information scattered throughout. Okay, I don't know how to start this video. I've tried to start it like 4 times, so I'm just going to get right into it. This is a tutorial on GitHub. Mainly for people who are working on fan games. I want to be the guy fan games, but I mean, if you've managed to find this video somehow, then it can be applied to basically anything. But the examples and stuff that I'm going to be using are going to be with fan games. So, GitHub. What is it good for? It's essentially a sort of not so much real-time, but collaborative sort of piece of software where you upload to a repository. You can download from that repository, so you can download other people's changes. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably already know what it is. So, yeah. I suppose the first thing you're going to want to do if you are starting some sort of project is create a repository. So, for the sake of this, we'll just call this one fan game tutorial. And don't worry about this. This is just saying because you can't use spaces because it needs to link to it in your browser and stuff as well. So it'll use a hyphen instead. So that's fine. Just create that. So the first thing that you'll notice when you create that is it'll put 2 files in. It'll put get attributes and get ignore. You can just ignore these for now. They're with every repository. I would just recommend not doing anything to them. So the first thing I recommend you do is get used to this right here. This drop down is your friend. Essentially, what this is it allows you to create once you've created the other branches, it allows you to select between different branches and stuff. So if I were to give an example, you can create a new branch with the button right next to it. And so something really important I want to mention. This is how this is where the magic happens, I suppose. This is how you can have multiple people working on the same project at the same time and it won't mess up. It's through branches. So what I recommend with people who are working on a game is with your branch, give it a name unique to you. So I'll do mine as Piranha Branch. And yeah, from Branch Master, that's fine. Basically, whenever you're starting a branch, this is just selecting what files it'll already have. So it's from master, so that's fine. Now my branch has everything the master branch has, which is good. So this is all well and good now. We have a branch, which is good. We have a unique branch. We have the master. I suppose you call this the master file if you're talking about like a database, how they have like relational databases between like, a master file and transaction files and all that. This is the master file, and all the separate branches are the transaction files. You're putting stuff from the transaction files into the master file rather. So this is all well and good. Like we have our branch here, we have Piranha branch, which is our transaction branch. We have the master branch, which is fine, but it's not really going to do much for us if we haven't published it. So what we want to do is we want to come to the master branch and we want to click publish. And what this is going to do is it's just going to publish it to basically the online version of GitHub. So this way you can invite people to, collaborate with you and all that. And you'll see it doesn't really take too long. With larger files in it, it will take maybe a little bit longer, but don't fret if it does take that long. Just sit it out, wait. So after that's done, if we actually go to our browser here and then we end up going to GitHub, what you'll find is if we go to our profile and then we go to repositories, that we will have the repository that we just published. It's been published to the website and we click it and you'll see this is why they need the hyphen so that they can actually link it. So this is good. This is what we want people to see that are working on our game. Okay, so this is all well and good. We have, we have our repository. It's been published to online. We have it on our host machine here on our PC. But it doesn't really have anything in it. Like, it's got the 2 text files that it starts you off with, so that's not really going to be too much help for us. So let's actually just go put our files into it. So if we saw before, when we created the repository, it gave us a file directory as to where it is. You can right click it and go open an explorer, and if I drag this over to here, what you'll see is it takes us straight to where our repository is. So I've got a file already prepared here. So if I grab this one, chuck it to that side. Basically what you want to do if you're working on fan games, you want to drag your current progress or whatever, your project, into the repository. So if you're not using fan games, then it would just be whatever your project file is, along with all the assets and stuff. So you can see I've dragged that in there, no fuss. If we go to changes, it automatically actually shows us, but you can see these are all the things it's detected that has changed. It's just detected, whoa, there's a lot of new files, because it's basically added all the object files, the sound files, the sprite files, all that stuff. So that's good. It's detected it. That's what we want. So it's detected the change, but we haven't exactly, committed it yet. It's there, but it can easily just be undone. So what we want to do is we want to give it a title or summary. So I'll just say importing the engine, and you don't need to give it a description, but just click commit to master, and that'll commit it to the master branch. If I were to do this in the Piranha branch, it would say commit to Piranha branch. So it's just basically committing it to whatever branch you have open. Now, just keep in mind that if you're working on a project by yourself, you won't need this second branch. You'll only need the master branch. We're not going to be using this second branch here until we get another person to work on it, which in my case will be myself, because the feels. But yeah, so we won't really be using this for a little while. Okay, so that's good. That's exactly what we want. We've put it in. You can see if we go to the history that just now we have imported the engine. So that's good. We've done it. We've committed it to the master file. Now we need to sync it. God, that word, I cannot say it today. We need to sync it to the online version. Basically, we're just sending it. We're syncing it with the servers and stuff with GitHub. So just click sync, and again, since this is a larger sync than the first one we did here with just the 2 text files, this might take a little while, so don't stress if it does. Okay, so after we've done that, we want to go back to our branch, and what you'll notice is it's now got a button saying update from master. That's because we committed the changes to the master file, but the Piranha branch file, that's still the same as it was before. So it's only, the Piranha branch is only going to have the 2 text files in it. So if you just click update from master, what it'll do is it will just take everything from the master file and put it into your branch. And again, this might take a little bit, so don't be afraid if it takes a little while. Okay, and then yeah, you just want to click sync, and that'll again sync it with the servers and all that online on the online version of GitHub. And you'll see that the icon's changed, and that's good. That's what you want. That means that we have a success. So now, if we go to our repository, back to our fangame tutorial, what you'll see is we now have the engine in there. 5 minutes ago, yeah. That's a lot of takes. Kill me. Okay, and so if we were to go ahead and open that file in GameMaker, which I suppose I'll do here, what you'll see, documents, this one, what you'll see is the engine, all the engine rooms are here. So that's good, we have everything we need. And so if I were to make a change here, if I were to, say, add a new object, say I would add, I don't know, a coin. Just throw that out off the top of my head and give it a creative in. I don't know, we'll just say x equals 30, y equals 300. Yay, we did it. And then we were to save this, and what you'll see is under the master branch, we actually have a new coin object. which is perfect. That's what we want. You can tell it's an object that's been added because of the green plus. That means it's an addition. So we can just give it a summary. I don't know. Added coin. Commit that to master. Okay, so now that that's done, we can sync it. You'll see GameMaker's doing some stuff, exciting stuff behind us. Not really sure what it's doing, but that's fine. And then we go to the Piranha branch after that. We can update it from the master, and you'll see it's moving it from the master branch to the Piranha branch. And then we can sync that as well. And again, that will, if we refresh, you can see the amount of commits has changed. That will add the coin. Alright, and so the last thing that you're going to want to do is invite your friend to the repository, because they can't actually work on it unless they've been invited. So you go to settings, and then you go to collaborators, which is the second option, and then over in this type box here you put in their name. So just ask them for their name and it should come up. So this is my alternate account that I made for this video. So if I add the collaborator, they should get an email. So what they want to do is they want to go to their email and accept the invite. It should be as easy as that. Then they should be able to, edit the repository and stuff. And so honestly, that's really about all you need to be doing if you're on the setup side. So if you're the one setting up the repository and stuff. So let's move it over to if you're the one who wants to join someone else's repository. Say your friend set up a repository and you want to join him, you want to make games with him and all that fun stuff. Let's move it over to what you have to do. Alright then, so the next thing you want to do is you want to go to the GitHub desktop program on your computer, and you want to go to the plus button as if you're making a new repository, but instead of doing add or create, you want to do clone. And if you've successfully been, accepted into the repository, you should see it here. So you just click that, and then you click clone, and you want to save it anywhere you can. Alright then, so when it's finished, what you actually want to do, the first thing you want to do is create a branch for yourself. So my name on this is Fuzzy298. We'll just say Fuzzy298 branch. Keep up with the naming convention we have. And so this is what you want to do for every single person in your repository, is they want to have their own sort of, they want to have their own branch with their own naming convention, and that should keep merge conflicts from happening. So they shouldn't happen because there should be, different people putting things in from different branches into the master file. Alright, and so now that we've done that, we can just click publish. And again, this is just like person 1, or the first person, the person who's setting up the repository. You're just publishing it so that it appears online. Right, and so now that that's done, if we go ahead and open GameMaker here, and we open the folder we had, which is under Documents, GitHub, this is where our repository is. So if we open this, then you can see we have OBJ coin here. So it's brought over the stuff from the first computer and it's brought it over to here, which is perfect, which is exactly what we want. Furthermore, what I recommend, while you are editing your game files, so while you're making new game files and stuff, don't mess with something someone's already used. So I would create your own maybe subfolder, say in objects. I would create a group and then I would call it Fuzzy298. And then in here, with all your objects, I would do obj Fuzzy298. I don't know, say I wanted to make a coin as well, coin. Of course, it doesn't have to be that specific. It could just be fuzzy coin, anything. F coin, that works too. I'm just going to do Fuzzy298 coin because that's the kind of way I would do it. But it can be whatever you like. And this way, if I were to work on my coin, and if I were to work on my coin here, Fuzzy298, and then the other person wants to work on their coin, there wouldn't be any merge conflicts. Because what a merge conflict is when you edit the same object in two instances. Say person A and person B are editing the same code, and then they both submit that to master. The master doesn't know what to do. It's like, well, I've got two instances of the same object. What am I going to do? So that's when a merge error occurs. So to avoid that, we use unique naming conventions like this. So you do that, you should be fine. As long as nobody else touches your stuff, you should be fine. And even if that's the case, merge conflicts are pretty easy to solve once you know what you're looking at. So I won't do that in this video though. Maybe I'll go into another video with that, and that's, a little more in-depth. So I've made a sprite as well, and I've put a little bit of code in the coin just because why not? Just because, it'll prove my point that you can do whatever basically as long as you use your naming conventions. Also, I should probably do this on bad practice. Well, this method here, I suppose, the method where you use your own name for everything, that's really only going to be used for collaborations of large size, like maybe 8, 9, 10 people. You could go above that, obviously, if you wanted. But this way, people won't get confused. If you were just collaborating with one other person, you don't really have to do this because, it's going to be pretty easy to keep track of whose object is whose and all that, and you'll remember that. But with more people, it starts to get a little more confusing, so it's good to get into the habit of doing something like this. So, yeah, once we've done that, again, we can save. And so, yeah, you can see that it's added all the files here. We've got the coin sprite, the coin object, the coin sprite, and then the coin sprite file. So, again, we just add a title to this. I don't know, added my own coin. Sure, that's good. And so then we can commit that to the fuzzy298 branch. And then we can sync that. What do you want, mate? Okay, and so once we've published that, the last thing we want to do, or rather once we've committed that, is we want to make a pull request. So we want to make a pull request from the file we just edited to the master file. That's basically it. So from the file we just edited, which is fuzzy298, into the master. You could change this if you wanted. Say, I don't know why you would want to, but you could. But for the sake of a collab, you would only be going from your branch to the master branch. And so you click send pull request, and once that's done, you can click view it on GitHub and it'll open your browser. And basically a pull request means you have to go to the pull requests tab in your repository on the browser, and you basically just want to click the merge pull request button and confirm merge. So basically that's all there is to it. Once it's done that, once you've done the pull request, you can go back to the master and sync it. Syncing it will take any changes that were made to the online version and put it into here, and vice versa. So if there was a change here, it would bring it to the online version. And you can see there's something just got added just now. So basically that's pretty much it for the person who didn't make the repository, who just wants to kind of download it and collab and work with someone else. That's basically all you need to do. You just need to remember, the things you need to remember are unique naming convention for your branch and your objects and whatever the hell you might be making. Make sure you save GameMaker before you do your committing and your syncing and your pull requests and all that, because otherwise you won't actually be syncing anything because you haven't saved. After you've saved, you want to make sure that you commit to your transaction file or your branch or whatever the hell. After you've committed it to your branch, you want to do a pull request, and then after the pull request, go to your master file and sync it. And that's pretty much it. Let's go back to the other computer. Right, so I did it off camera because I wasn't recording because I'm an idiot. But essentially, what person number 1 wants to do, the person who made the repository, after person number 2 has, done all the pull requests and all that, basically all they want to do is click the sync button, and then that should sync up the master file to the up-to-date one, and then go to their branch and click update from master. This button won't be blurred out, but at the moment mine is because I've already done it and there's no changes made, so it can't actually update from master. Okay, so finally, just to prove that it should be working, if we go to open up GameMaker, what we will find is that we have, look at that, fuzzy sprite here, everything's fine. We could, again, edit our own thing. We could even edit Fuzzy's thing as long as, here's the catch, as long as fuzzy298 is not currently editing the object, you should be fine. As long as the same object doesn't get edited by 2 people, you should be fine. And so yeah, you can see everything's there, it looks pretty good. Again, if you wanted to, you could add more objects. You could basically just work on it like normal. I don't know. If you want, whatever the hell you want to do, it doesn't really matter to me. Just remember, save the game, and then after it's done saving, remember to go into changes, and you'll see it there. Just, remember to back it up, or not back it up, but remember to commit to the Prana branch, sync it, and after you've synced it, do a pull request. And that's basically the basic method. Every time you make a change, you want to commit it, sync it, do a pull request, and then sync the master. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And again, after your pull request, just make sure you have the master file synced. Okay, well, that just about covers everything. If you still have any questions, do leave them in the comments or anything like that, because I will respond. I will most likely do a video on merge conflicts sometime in the near future, not too distant future, whenever I get time, because merge conflicts can be kind of intimidating to handle. It's a big, error message thrown up in your face. You don't really know what you're doing, so I will definitely cover those at some point, because I know that a lot of people don't really understand sort of what to do when they get one, and it does involve this atom extension here, and I will go over that as well in the video. But for now, I suppose that's everything. So, if you found it helpful, give it a what do the cool kids say nowadays? Give it a like. I don't fucking subscribe to me. I don't post fucking anything. Cool. Bye. I'm leaving now.